Before we get to the episode, I want to set the background a little bit. There are countless studies that have shown that at any given time, regardless of the marketing platform you're using, only 3% of your audience are active buyers. Another 7% intend to change. But then there's this whole other 90% of the market that often gets ignored. And in that 90%, there's 30% who fall into a category that there's just not enough pain to act yet. Or 30% don't have a need yet. Or 40% of your audience just isn't interested yet. So often in this industry, and I can say that this is an area where I strongly believe advisors are very underserved. So often in this industry, we have a tendency to go after that 3% that are active buyers, or some might call it that low-hanging fruit. Here's a good example that many people can relate to. Let's say a financial advisor does a targeted direct mail dinner seminar, and I'm going to use average numbers. But let's say they choose the nicest venue, they pay for 10,000 premium mailers. Maybe they have low attendance, so they pay for a social media campaign to boost attendance. They hire a seminar coach. Even with all of that, they still get a 1% response rate. So it's 10,000 mailers, 1% response rate, 100 people respond. And we break that into buying units, right? So 50 buying units. Usually there's around a 30% attrition rate. So if you're having a 2-night dinner seminar, you'll have 17 buying units per night, around that. Let's say there's an 80% appointment setting ratio. And so around 12 appointments are booked for that 2-night seminar. Out of those 12 appointments, the average is 3 cancel or are no-shows. 3 aren't qualified, 3 aren't interested, and 3 become clients and probably pay for that entire seminar and maybe the next year's seminar. And that's how a lot of advisors make their money, is by doing those seminars, because they're profitable if you're doing them consistently and frequently, like I've talked before. And again, that's the average. Some might do better, some might do worse. I've seen on both ends of the spectrum, but that is around an average seminar. And a conversation I used to have with advisors is, what happened to those who responded but never attended, or those who attended but never set an appointment, or they set an appointment but they didn't show, or they showed but they didn't wind up doing business with you? Did they suddenly no longer need help navigating through retirement or whatever else because they didn't meet with you? And so often when I would ask that to advisors, like, what happened to them? The answer was nothing. Because this entire industry's answer to I need to see more prospects is usually do more seminars, add radio, add TV, or multi-channel marketing. In the 15 years of working with financial advisors, I have seen so much emphasis on generating more leads and very little on nurturing the leads you already have or nurturing your clients. And I have my own thoughts on why that is, but I'm going to save that for another episode. My guest today is Dr. Kerry Johnson. Kerry is an author, keynote speaker, and a coach, and he's helped countless financial advisors grow their business exponentially by leveraging their most underutilized and most valuable asset, which is their database. And we discussed several different topics, but looking back, I would say the main theme was on nurturing your clients and leads. So here is Dr. Kerry Johnson. One thing that really impressed me when we were talking, and I know we've met before and I've seen you speak, but when we reconnected a couple of weeks ago and I asked you to be on the podcast, my thinking was, let's promote Dr. Kerry Johnson as a coach and promote his services, because you're not paying me for this. And so I have no problem shamelessly promoting people's services. And that was my thinking. And you were like, well, why don't we add some value on top of that? And I appreciated that. So I know you had a couple of things that you wanted to talk about that is pertinent and important to financial advisors. So I'm going to just let you talk about some of the things that was on your mind.
Yeah. So let me give you a little background. So I'm an MBA, PhD level business psychologist. And I started out with Kidder Peabody as a stockbroker. back in 1981. That was after a pro tennis career. So I played at UC San Diego. I played on the pro tour, tennis tour for 2 years. And I left the tour because of illness and fatigue. The fans were sick and tired of me. So I realized I had to go and start a career someplace. And I went back to graduate school, got my doctorate. And I thought at that point, I really don't want to become a clinical psychologist. I haven't got the patience to deal with psychotics and people that hate their wives. And I
Yeah.
really don't want to become an academician. I've written, my thesis was hard enough, and I didn't want
Yeah.
to. And I teach at a lot of places right now. I'm a professor at the adjunct at the University of Portugal. I've taught at Harvard as an adjunct professor, Cambridge, Oxford, et cetera, et cetera. But what I do right now is really, really fun because I get to speak around the world at conventions, and in a couple of days a week, I get to work on my clients with coaching. So, coaching does three things. Number one, it builds production very, very quick because you have someone that works with you on a weekly basis by Zoom, for example, that keeps you glued to a business plan, keeps you focused every single week. Number two, coaching is really good about building your skills. Right
Hmm.
now, the only way that any a producer is going to be able to go from 100 to $1 million a year is by increasing their hours by 10 times or by increasing the skills. And I'd much rather build their skills. Number three, coaching is really good about getting past fear of success. So there's four basic fears that people go through. And if you've been in this business any time at all through the career system with the insurance companies, or if you just started out as a CFP or Series 65, you suffer from intense fear of rejection. I don't want to
Hmm.
make that phone call. What if someone says no? Number two is the fear of looking foolish. What if they ask me a question I don't know? What if they ask me a estate planning thing and I look like I'm stupid? They're not going to do business with me. Number three is the fear of failure. If I start this business, it may not work. Why take the risk? Why not just work for somebody else? And number four is the worst fear of all, and that's the fear of success. Um, I always thought that everybody wants success. Why would people not want to work really hard and get success? Well, the truth of the matter is people self-sabotage. And I see that in my practice all the time. You put a
Wow.
producer on a schedule where he goes from $500,000 a year to $1 million a year through making, you and I talked about this a week ago called 3-month phone calls.
Yes.
And he comes back or she comes back the next Monday and says, I was doing some paperwork and I had to deal with Athene and I had to deal with American Equity and it was really difficult and I just didn't get a chance to make those phone calls. Well, that's self-sabotage.
Yeah.
When you have a clear path to know what you're doing, but you put avoidance behaviors in the middle of it, you're basically saying through to a psychologist anyway, you're afraid of the success. You
Yeah.
can't schedule your day effectively enough. The discipline is there, even though you know exactly what to do, and you don't do it.
You're saying when somebody knows what to do, they know they have a path to proven success and they steer from it. That could be it's because they really don't feel like they deserve to be successful.
It's not only deserved to be successful, but they don't think they should be successful. And there's a difference.
Okay.
I deserve to live in a beautiful place, have a beautiful family. But whether I treat my wife badly, I treat my kids badly, that's basically saying that success I'm having right now is something that I don't think I should have. And maybe it's deserved, maybe it's something else, but they're
Hmm.
self-sabotaging, but because they're trying to push those things away. And that's a lot of psychotherapy. The bottom line is when you put people on a clear path to know what they're doing, to get to the goal they have, and they say, yeah, I want that goal. I want to hit that. I'm committed to it. And they self-sabotage by doing avoidance behaviors, that's fear of success.
Have you ever read the book The Big Leap?
Yeah.
That is such a fascinating book and speaks exactly to what you're saying, where people feel like they might deserve to be healthy and happy but not successful, or they deserve to be healthy and successful but not happy. And story after story of how people do, they're having great success in their company, and then all of a sudden they start having marital problems.
Yeah.
That's very interesting to me.
My
And
my brother ran a video company. He's retired, and he had one guy named Steve. And Steve was making more money than he's ever made in his whole life. He was a telemarketer, and he would call people so that they would buy my videos. And that was a lot of years ago, maybe 35 years ago. Well, every time Steve got $500 or $600 in his pocket. He'd go to a hotel room and do heroin and whatever drugs he was doing for the weekend, and he'd run out of money, couldn't buy the drugs anymore, go back to work as a telemarketer. And I sat with him a bunch of times, and I said, "This lifestyle is killing you. I mean, not only is it killing you physically, but it's killing your family." And he said he loved his family, he loved his kids, been divorced like 4 times, and that's a really extreme example of fear of
Yeah,
success.
yeah. How do you see that play out with advisors? I'm sure they're not making a sale and shooting heroin, or maybe they are. But
Not
how do you?
not
I mean,
anybody I work with anyway, but so what we typically do is we work on what's called operant conditioning. So this is not something I do all the time, but I'm a business psychologist, so I'm armed with these kind of tools. So we look at the things that they give themselves. They might give themselves golf. That might give themselves gym, and this is called the PREMAC principle, where they give themselves something rewarding no matter when they want to do it. They might have a beer at the end of the day. Maybe they take a walk. I mean, it could be anything. So we'll take those rewarding experiences, and then we'll make them contingent on doing the things they need to do. So, for example, if I have to make a call, if I call a client, which I really espouse, and I want to talk about that, Justin, with
Yes.
you in a couple seconds here. But if there's a 38% chance, and there is, of getting an opportunity for making a client phone call with the right kind of script. And if I do that, I'm going to allow myself at the end of the day to do the thing I normally do anyway, which is maybe watch. One of my favorite news programs is I watch Special Report on Fox. So
Okay.
if I make that phone call and I'm able to watch Special Report on Fox at the end of the day, that's a rewarding experience. So it's contingent on me making the phone call. On the other hand, if I don't make the phone call, I can't watch Fox. But here's a controlling factor. I give my staff person, could be a wife, could be a secretary, could be anybody, a stack of 20, five $20 bills. And anytime I don't hold myself to the contract, I give her $20. So, for example, if I make the phone call and I don't watch Special Report, she gets it $20. If I don't make the phone call, do watch Special Report, she gets $20. So it's only an abrogation of the contract, and
I like it.
it's very effective.
If you ever another accountability partner, I'm here. No, I love that. I mean, I've heard that before, and it's like making good habits easy, rewarding yourself, but to when you do the good habit, and making bad habits, not making the phone calls, making it harder, not punishing yourself. But that is fascinating.
Yeah, and that's one of the tools psychologists have as coaches, that they're able to
Wow.
apply those kind of things.
So phone calls, because advisors, I don't like making phone calls really, but why do we not? And why is that? Why is there a 38% success when someone picks up the phone?
So I gave a speech to a really big broker dealer up in Boston a lot of years ago, maybe 10, 20 years ago. And there was a compliance guy who was running a seminar called Do You Know More Than a Fifth Grader? And it was so funny. He was talking about how many people know this, how many people know this. They had a squad of really young people in the front of the room, and it was just hilarious. So I got up there about an hour later, and I said to the whole group, five or 600 people, what's the average interval between calls to A and B level clients? And nobody knew the answer. And all of a sudden, this compliance guy stood on top of a chair, and these guys have personalities like CPAs.
Yeah.
I mean, they can't communicate at all. This guy was wonderful. And he got on top of his chair and said, every 18 months. And he said the average complaint occurs in the 19th month. And I thought, holy cow. So if we talk to clients and we say to a client, how often would you like to be contacted? Most clients will say, oh, every couple of months. The truth of the matter is, we've done studies and studies about this. Clients want to be spoken to every 3 months. Now, there are 3 reasons why we do this. Number 1, we're going to get more assets. Number 2, we're going to upsell them to long-term care, or we're going to upsell them to, maybe life insurance if it's appropriate. But the most important thing is this: we're going to try to get referrals from people. Referrals are 35% more likely to do business with you. They're 65% more likely to buy from you. And there's 2 kinds of referrals. Number 1 is called a proactive referral, in which you say to somebody, "Hey, who do you know?" and they give you a name, and that's got a 38% chance of booking an appointment with you. And the second kind of referral is called an advocacy referral, in which they call you out of the blue, and that has an 83% chance of booking business with you. The difference
Wow.
between the two is frequency of contact. If I ask for referral and get a name, 30% of the time they're going to book an appointment. On the other hand, if I communicate with my clients every 3 months and they talk about me to their friends, there's an 83% chance that someone calling in is going to book a sale.
So for people listening to the podcast, that book that you just held up, is that one of your 18 books?
One of the 18 books is called The Referral Mindset. Yeah.
The Referral Mindset.
Yeah.
Okay. So in that book, you know, my personality is I would have, not that I haven't done it, but I feel like I struggle with calling a client and saying, "Hey, do you have any referrals? What's their name? Let me call them."
Yeah.
Do you talk about that in the book, or do you just say, "Hey, if you're just communicating with your clients, you'll stay top of mind and you'll get referrals that way," or both?
Yeah, it's actually more structured and actually easier than that. So the 3 steps of that 3-month phone call are: number one, catch up, update, actually 4 steps: 5-step bridge, and referral. Catch up on the family. Hey, Justin, the last time I talked to you was 2 weeks ago. I was on my way to go see my grandkids up at Palm Springs, and we had a wonderful time. And you told me that you were in Colorado, and what's been happening since I spoke to you last. Number 2, market update. Clients don't know what they don't know. So we talk about 3 things the market may do, 3 things the market has done, 3 things the economy may do, 3 things the economy has done. So, for example, this is the 3-month phone call. Hey, Justin, I'm really not sure you've been paying much attention, but the market is kind of volatile right now. And the reason is because the Fed is not responding to growth probably the way they should. Their interest rates are not going down. Trump is threatening the Fed with subpoenas and things, and it's causing a lot of volatility currently. Iran is geopolitical risk. If Trump sends a carrier force out there, the market may react depending on what Iran does to the U.S. forces. Housing right now is off the charts bad, mainly because people can't afford to get down payments, and interest rates are still about 6%. What I think is going to happen in the next couple of months is we're going to have probably a really high growth rate because of what the big, beautiful bill did last summer. I think the interest rates are probably going to go down, especially after Jay Powell leaves office. And I think that also we're going to see a little bit more growth in the market than we have over the last year. And the growth was actually pretty good. The market did 13% over the last year. I think we might see a little bit, no guarantees, a little bit bigger growth in the next probably 6 months. This part's critical. What are your thoughts about all the stuff that's happening right now? I'm not saying, how do you feel? I'm saying, what are your thoughts? And you're going to say to me, well, I'm scared about this, and I'm scared about this, and I'm nervous about this. And then my point is going to say, do you have any assets right now that I don't know about that could be at risk?
Ooh.
You're going to say, yep, my wife is going to be retiring next year. She's got $300,000 in her 401k, and I'm kind of nervous what to do with that money. Now I have money in motion, all because I did a market update, and I asked what you're nervous about, and I asked about any money that I don't know about, and now I'm going to go into the 5-step bridge. So we just talked about the catch-up. We talked about the market update. I asked what you're concerned about, and now we're going to go into the 5-step bridge. The 5-step bridge is: number 1, introductory sentence; number 2, get 3 needs; number 3, recap like a psychotherapist; number 4, trial close to get commitment; and number 5, move on to the next, book the next appointment. So number 1 is introductory sentence. Do you have any money out there that could be at risk? Yeah, my wife is going to be retiring in 6 months. She's got $400,000 in her 401k. I'm nervous about what to do with the money. Maybe I should leave it there. Maybe I should move it someplace else. Now I'm going to get 3 needs. 1 need gets me a 35% chance of a sale. 2 needs is 56. 3 needs gets me a 93% chance of making a sale. So now I'm going to say, what do you plan to do with that money? Well, it's going to be for retirement. What are you nervous about right now? Well, I don't want to lose it. And if you had it, if you didn't lose it, I mean, what kind of return would be appropriate? I mean, would be 2%, 3%, would be 5 or 6%. Well, I'd like to get what the S&P is getting right now. Now I got 3 needs. Doesn't want to lose it, wants it for retirement, and wants to make S&P kind of returns. So now I'm going to recap. U.S. Trust discovered that 86% of the population does business, will do business because they feel understood. Now, this is a critical stat. Only 6% do business because they're made to understand. So I could tell you what to do, and 6% of the population are going to say, that's a great idea. When can I give you my money? Or we can listen people into doing what them do by using the 5-step bridge and 3 needs, and 86% will. So now I'm gonna make you feel understood. So if I heard you correctly, recap. You said 3 things. Number 1, you don't want to lose the money. Number 2, you want to use it for retirement, and you'd like to get S&P index kind of returns. Did I get all that right? Now they feel understood. Now I'm gonna trial close to make sure you commit to the solution. So if we could take a look at some solutions for each of these 3 things, maybe in a week or so, would that be helpful for you? And what are you going to say? No, I don't want to do it. You just told me you did.
Yeah. Wow.
So that's the 5-step bridge.
Yes.
So we call their A's and B's, not C's, every 3 months. Now the way to segment a client base is number 1, and A's are typically 25% of your client base. B's are usually 35%, and C's are the balance. So they're usually 40%.
Okay.
So A's are people that have given you the amount of commission fees that that you want. Number 2, you enjoy, and number 3 are currently advocates, people who are actively giving you referrals. So it's could be 50%, could be 20%. Number 2, B's are people who could become A's if you contacted them enough. C's are people who will never be able to give you $7,000 for a case. If you got referrals from them, they'd be more C's. We just don't need more C's. So we're going to focus on the A's and B's. Now let's go back to the 5-step bridge. So the most effective way of getting referrals is by mentioning that on the 3-month phone call. So the 3 sentences are, number 1, let them know how much you value the relationship. Number 2, give them a reason to help their friends. And number 3, be very direct when you ask. So most people in this business will say things like, well, don't keep me a secret. Or if you know anybody, give me a call. And they say, oh, sure, no problem. And they forget as soon as you get off the phone.
Yes.
So sentence number 1 is, I really enjoy working with you. These are my words. Anybody can change the words if they want to. Number 2, not sure you know this, but 83%, let me take that back, 56% of all the people you know are going to be totally dependent on Social Security sometime during their lives. It's a really horrible way to retire. Number 3, if you know anybody, who do you know who could benefit from some of the things we've talked about before? Who do you know? Sentence number 1, I love working with you. Number 2, 56% are being totally dependent on Social Security. Number 3, who do you know who could benefit from some of the things we've done so far? I've got a client in Bloomington, Illinois, the home of State Farm Insurance. I'll talk to him on Monday. He gets 4 referrals every single week. And he's got 2 junior advisors working with him. They get maybe 2 to 3 referrals. 4 referrals every single week. And all he does is tags on the referral line. So he talks to a client in 3 months. The next 3 months, he might change a little bit. You know, as you know, Justin, I asked you for names of anybody you think are good. But, who do you know since we last spoke that might benefit from some of the things that we've done together? And almost everybody says, well, anybody could benefit by that. And the truth of the matter is, as soon as you're off the phone, people are going to talk to friends and say, let me tell you what the market's doing right now. Well, who says that? Well, Pete says that. Who's Pete? My financial advisor. Well, I don't like my guy. He never talks to me at all. What's his name? Do you have a phone number for him? And that's where we get advocacy.
Wow. I'm curious your opinion on this because you've been in successful advisors' offices. We'll talk about some of our, I mean, not by name, but some of the advisors that we both know. And you've seen how advisors do their marketing and you've seen what they do. And me coming from a marketing background, it used to, and it still does, it would bother me when an advisor had been in the business 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 years, and they were still getting the bulk of their business, writing the bulk of their business from brand new leads. Either they're on radio every week, they were on TV, they were doing dinner seminars. And I understand advisors just starting off in the business. I mean, you'd starve if you were asking just for referrals, probably. So you have to do probably dinner seminars or whatever. But have you found that going into advisors' offices that there's just this mindset that you have to hunt, you don't nurture, and they're just missing out on so many opportunities by not doing those 3-month phone calls? Because you're talking about doing that with existing clients, like taking care of their client base.
There are 5 ways to market. Number 1 is cold calls. Cold calls are effective, but only a 4% chance. So 4% of people you talk to are going to book appointments. Low quality, not very qualified. Number 2 are direct mail. A lot of people will do direct mail. You could do direct mail if you want to.
Mm-hmm.
And direct mail will works about 1/10% of the time, but you have to telephone follow-up. It's kind of like a warm cold call. Number 3 are seminars. Seminars, and we've done a lot of research on this. Seminars cost $800 per closed appointment. $800 per closed appointment. And if you run the math on that, I mean, you really have to be making $8,000 or $10,000 per case to be able to pay for someplace between $10,000 and $20,000 to be able to put on a dinner. And the horrible thing about the dinner is that 20% are unqualified. You know, you work with some of these companies out there, and I've worked with all of them. They go to InfoUSA, and they look at zip codes and addresses. Well, they're pretty slapdash about it. And the people they're getting to come to the seminars, 75% are qualified. They have, I don't know, maybe $250,000. But 25% have no money at all. 60% of the population who go to seminars only came for the meal. So you and I both know Carlin Tucker.
Yes.
And Carlin said to me, I coached Carlin for a couple of years, and Carlin said to me, I don't care if they came for the meal or not. I'm going to convince them that they need to book appointments with me. Well, if you're not Carlin Tucker, you know, you might want to do something else. So you really are down to 25% of the population that go to the dinner seminars even have the chance of booking appointments, which is why we get to that $800 mark.
Mm-hmm.
Referrals are good. Because I just gave you the numbers on that, 38%, 83%, et cetera, et cetera. And my opinion is we have to do all the above. Let's do referrals, let's do seminars, let's speak at conventions, let's do newsletters. But if you want to do something without paying a lot of money for it, you've got to nurture the business by making 3-month phone calls.
And I agree, all of them are important. I've seen a lack of the farming. That's the term I was thinking of, hunting versus farming. Like, people like to go out and get like brand new. They don't like to farm. They don't like to nurture their existing clients. And there's just so much opportunity there. And you're spending your time, but you're not spending hard costs on, you know, $800 per closed appointment with seminars. And it just seems like there's a huge part of our industry that's missing when it comes to client nurturing.
Yeah, and it's so easy to start out by just keeping contact with clients. Networking is good too. We go to an event, maybe BNI. We go to maybe a convention someplace, and we network with people. I mean, that's a good thing to do too. But the other thing is, almost nobody in this industry has a good elevator speech. So I'm not going to pick on you, Justin, because I know you're better than the average. But if I ask any one of the producers that you know and I know, well, tell me what you do. They're going to say this. I'm a financial advisor, and I work with retirees.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, nice. You just made yourself one of the 100,000 people out there that why would I want to work with you when I can work with somebody else that might be better than you? So if you don't differentiate yourself, number one, you've given me the right to make you a commodity. And if I can do that, I could pay you less. I could not show up for appointments. I could postpone you. I could stall you. I could do whatever I want. If I have I had cancer in 2019, prostate cancer.
Okay.
And I had the opportunity 2 years later. I was able to reverse my cancer by diet and the other things, but I eventually had brachytherapy, which is a very, and I caught it early, a very specialized radiation. And the guy who did it was a guy named Chung at UCLA. So the secretary said to me, he just had a cancellation a couple of days before Christmas. Can you be here at 10:30 in the morning? I said, holy cow, 2 days before Christmas, I'll be there an hour early just so I don't miss it, just in case
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
traffic there. Now, why did I do that? Because he was differentiated from everybody else out there, and I was lucky to have the appointment.
Hmm.
So, do you want to talk about elevator speeches? Because
Yes.
most producers are really into this.
Yes.
So, elevator speech has 4 parts. Number 1, label yourself so I don't have to, as the prospect. Number 2, give me 3 things you do better than anybody on the face of the earth. Number 3, tell me a story about how you do it, because after all, people don't remember the 3 things you do. People remember the stories
So,
forever.
yeah.
And number 4, do a takeaway. Don't try to sell me on something, but take it away. So here's a good example of elevator speech. I'm a financial advisor that typically works with retirees, and I do 3 things. Number 1, I get above market performance of below market risk. Number 2, I make sure that I keep in contact with my clients every 3 months through the rest of their lives. And number 3, I make sure that my clients always have somebody that they could talk to for anything that happens during that retirement process. I had a client named Janine. She was married to a guy named Sam, and Sam had died about 3 years earlier. She had lost 25% of her portfolio, and I looked at it and I thought, holy cow, Janine, I don't know who your advisor is right now, but he's got you in some things that are really volatile, and it's 75 years old. You can't afford to have that kind of volatility. She said, wow, I don't know what's happening here. We put her into some safe investments that mirror the stock market, and she kept, after a while, she kept growing and growing, growing. And about 6 months ago, she walked to my office, brought me my favorite chai tea latte from Starbucks. She sat down and said, if I hadn't met you, I probably would be living with my kids, and I don't want to have that. Now, I'm not sure that's going to happen to you at all, but I'd love to talk more to find out more about you.
Wow.
So 4 parts of the elevator speech. And if you do that, people will totally focus on the story on the elevator speech. And they'll remember the other parts because you told a great story.
Have you ever watched the YouTube video, the TED Talk with Simon Sinek, or read his book, Start With Why?
Mm-hmm.
To me, you just perfectly described the extra step that most people don't take. Most people know what they do. They know how they do it. I'm a I'm a financial advisor. I work with retirees. I do that by blah, 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 blah. So that's the what and how. And then that story to me, like the reason it sucks people in is because that's the why.
That's the why, yeah.
That is powerful because most people don't tack that on.
Well, we could go deeper in this too. So what I try to do is you're at a seminar, and a lot of the people you and I know do seminars. Not well, but they do seminars. So the person comes in the office, and the first thing they do is, fortunately, they say, so what brings you in today? Or let's take a look at your portfolio. What they should be doing is saying, what do you recall about who I am from the seminar? And I guarantee prospects are going to say, well, you're like a financial advisor and you work with people like me, right? What they should be doing is say, yeah, do you mind if I give you some background? Even though they did the seminar, they don't feel like they need to do it again. You have to do it again. When you're making a 3-month phone call, maybe someone's been with you for a year. If you say to them, what do you think it is that I do? They're going to probably put it in nebulous terms. They're going to say, well, you're a financial advisor that keeps me on track. You're a financial advisor that works on my retirement. So what if a friend says, what does he do for you? He helps me with my retirement. You're a commodity. Yeah. I'm not going to call your guy because he works on your retirement. Mm-hmm. And you say he's really good. So instead, let's every year, maybe every 6 months, say to a client, what do you remember that I do? Just out of curiosity. You're like a financial advisor. You help in retirement, right? I mean, that's what you've been doing so far. Yeah, but would you mind if I give you the background one more time? Yeah, go sure. Well, as you know, I'm a financial advisor. I do three things. So now they have a better chance of remembering specifically what you want them to tell their friends. And when that happens, all of a sudden people are able to differentiate you from all the other people they know.
I've heard the difference between marketing and branding is marketing is what you say about yourself, branding is what other people say about you.
No, I like that.
And
Yeah.
and so people, you're really training or reinforcing to your brand ambassadors, those people who are going to spread things about you. You're wanting them to say the right thing, and that's your brand.
Yeah. I like your definition. What they say about you is really the brand.
Yeah,
And you have to communicate the brand a lot.
yeah.
So let's talk about memory for a second. And this is
Yeah.
important too. We forget 70% of what we see, hear, and feel within one day. 70%, 70%. We forget 90% within 3 days. So you say to somebody today or at the seminar, ladies and gentlemen, here's my introduction. I'm a financial advisor and I work with retirement. They have forgotten 90% of what you said by the next week.
Wow.
So which is why we have to keep communicating the brand all the time. We have to keep talking about the brand.
Right. No, that's a good point. I'm curious about something. You're giving away so much valuable information for free when you could be charging somebody for your coaching, and which is amazing. I love this, but I want to talk about your coaching services for a second, if you don't mind. I listened to a podcast a few years ago, and I'll never forget. This guy tells a story about his best friend comes to him and said, "Hey, I'm wondering if you can help me. I'm having some problems with my marriage with my wife." And the guy on the podcast said, "Yeah, absolutely. What's going on?" So he described the scenario, and I don't remember exactly what it was, but his wife said something, and he said something in return, and then there was a problem, and then they argued, and he was saying what he said and what she said and stuff. So this guy on the podcast, it was Darren Hardy. I don't know if you've ever read any of Darren Hardy's stuff, but he said, I listened to this guy's problem, and I saw it so clearly. I'm like, first of all, you need to go home and apologize to your wife. Secondly, you need to tell her what you're going to do to make sure this never happens again. I mean, he just laid it out exactly what his best friend needed to do with his wife. And so when they were done talking, his best friend said, "All right, let me know how that goes for you." And Darren's like, "What?" And what he had done is he had reversed it. And this was his best friend who had observed Darren in a situation with Darren's wife.
Oh, I love that.
And he asked us for his advice. And the whole point of the podcast was sometimes we're so subjectively involved in our business that we know what to do. We can tell somebody else what to do, but we can't see it for ourselves. And so without oversimplifying what you do, is a coach, because you just gave away a lot of stuff, and if people could do it on their own, you wouldn't have the successful business that you have. So is a coach, not oversimplifying it, but is a coach someone who just comes alongside of somebody that already knows what to do in a lot of cases, but somebody who just objectively keeps them accountable and helps them do what they already know what they need to do?
So that you made a very good point right there, and that's kind of the psychotherapeutic use of coaching. So great coaches will keep people accountable. Number two, they'll build skills, basic skills, and number three, they build advanced skills. So the basic skills will be how to get referrals, 5-step bridge, 3-month phone call. The advanced skills will be things like NLP, the way they move their eyes, the words I use, behavior economics, confirmation bias. I'm only going to list the stuff I already believe, and then work on personality differences. How do you communicate, elevator speech, et cetera, et cetera. But if I said to somebody, let me tell you the 7 steps to probing, maybe they listen to it, maybe they don't. They're paying me, so they'll probably listen to me. But if I say to somebody, tell me about how you probe. What's your probing process? What's your ratio of the number of people that go from there's four steps in a sale. Number one is prospecting. Could be referrals, could be seminars, could be leads. Number 2 is probing, asking questions, needs analysis, fact finding. Number 3 is solutions, hopefully based on stories. And number 4 is knowing when to shut up. I call that knowing when to close. Buying signals, stress cues, when they want to do it. So what's your closing ratio between the second stage, probing, and the third stage, presenting solutions? Well, it's about maybe 45%. You happy with that? I'd like to make it more. What percentage would you like to make it more? I'd like to get to maybe 85, 90%. Okay. Let's go through your probing process right now. Tell me what you're doing. And at the end of that, they're always going to, I like to make people dangle. Dangling means I get frustrated, I don't know what to do, I'm confused. And then we say, so number 1 is calibration, or listening to people, measuring the first 10 minutes, rapport development. Number 2 is doing the elevator speech. And we go through the whole process only because they are, in the end, begging to have a better system. So if you're just telling people what to do, you're in that 6% of population I talked about before that buy because somebody told you what to do. The 86% of the population buys because they feel understood. And if you can, and the coaching mechanics, you brought it up, probably too deep for most people right now. But any really great coach is going to say, tell me about your process. Would you like to improve it? Maybe here's a better way.
Wow. One of my favorite advisors in the entire world is Andrew in Caldwell, Idaho. Been working with him for 15 plus years. And he's such a good guy. And it's interesting to go to different reward trips with Andrew. And, he would get an award for being a top advisor. And I really think someone like an Andrew, if rewards were given for how much money kept by not spending it on marketing and lead generation type stuff instead of production, he probably would have won rewards almost every year because of how little he spends on marketing, but how much he writes and how much he takes care of his clients and how much he cares. And almost every single time I've talked to him, and this is a testament to you, almost every single time I talk to him, he would say, well, Dr. Johnson says, like, he quotes you and stuff. And how long have you been coaching him?
15 years.
15 years.
Yeah, most of my clients have been with me for at least 5 years. And there's about a handful of them with me for between 10 and 20 years. So he's one of the really long-term ones.
Yeah.
He brought his son Bryler in. I'm working with him. He brought his son Seth in. I'm working with him. So interesting thing about Andrew. Andrew is totally diligent and accountable. I'll say to him, how many RPCs, revenue producing contact, 3-month phone calls did you make over the last week? And he'll say 28. How many opportunities did you get from that? And a huge number, like 18. Because Andrew has this listening curiosity. He doesn't say, well, we need to put you in life insurance. We need to put all that money back into fixed index annuities. He does all the things we talked about. But here's the really cool part. He'll get right about maybe 3 or 4 referrals every single week. And I'll say to him, I used to say to him years ago, were they proactive, 38%, or were they advocacy, 83%? In other words, did you call them or did they call you? And I know not to anymore because he will never ask for referrals. Never ask for referrals. But he'll keep a contact with people every 3 months. And he gets floods of people that just call him out of the blue. Can you work with me? I heard about you. Can you work with me on this thing? My friend says you're wonderful. Can you help me with my retirement?
And he's a guy that is on 4th generation clients.
Yeah, he is.
And it's all referral. It's so much of it is referral. And he's a top advisor. I love that guy. And he, like I said, he talks about you all the time. And everybody that I've talked to that uses you, every advisor, I've not talked to anyone that isn't a financial advisor, but every financial advisor I've talked to who listens to this podcast, they say that you've helped them double their business. Tim in Nashville, in the past year, he doubled his business. And he's like, it's because of Dr. Johnson.
Yeah. So I think that the best clients I have are people that are, instead of trying to tell me how great they are, they're trying to tell me how much they want to grow. And the second thing is they're really curious. I'm going to listen to something that I think is going to be a benefit. And the third thing, they implement the stuff that they think is going to be good for them. There's so many people in this industry who are just full of themselves,
Yeah.
and they say, well, I'm going to get there because I'm just going to work hard, and I'm going to go to another seminar, and I'm going to learn this thing and this thing. They don't really implement all that well. But you just talked about two guys, Andrew and Tim, who they'll take notes like voraciously,
Yes.
and they'll implement it too afterwards.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, there's no sense in hiring you if you're not going to implement what you say.
Well, a lot of people hire them because they want to validate what they're already doing, and those clients don't last very long.
Right. That makes sense. As we're wrapping up, I want to promote and do a book giveaway that we talked about. So your best-selling book, what is that? How can people order it?
There's a lot of books people can get, but the two I'd recommend are probably this one called Mastering the Game, and this one called The Referral Mindset. They're both excellent books. I mean, there's 17 books people could pick from, but I recommend one of these two.
Okay. So I'm going to grab several copies of that, and you offered, which is gracious, to give away a couple
I'll match
of copies.
whatever you buy. I'll just give away.
Okay. Can people buy if they want to buy it on their own, or if the giveaway is done and there's no more left?
Yeah, they
can go to Amazon.
If they get it from me, I'll sign it, and they can, or they could go on Amazon, and I'll not have any contact with it, but they can email me at kerryjohnson.com. Go to my website, KERRYJOHNSON.com, and then I'll sign the books and pop it out to them.
So if they order it through that website, you'll sign them,
or just send me an email, and I'll do it that way too. Either way.
Yeah. And so when we talk offline, I'll figure out how to get that so we can get them a signed copy and stuff.
Sure.
But those two books, and you've written 16 others, and they are available through your website or on Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
Do you prefer? And it's funny. I wrote a book several years ago, and I have found very quickly publishing through Amazon is like pennies on the dollar.
Yeah, I make $1 a book when so it's it's kind of I do it like probably you because I just want to have a better connection with clients. So I give a lot of books away too.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing, but the books, I love the books. So good. Anything in closing? Like, you've given so much information. What's one thing that you would give to an advisor, like to say, you know what, if you implement this year, what would that be?
If I was going to talk about three things, and I can't think of one single one, but number one, keep in contact with your A's and B's every 3 months. Magic will happen. Number two, you don't have to work yourself to the next level. You need to work with somebody else that's going to get you there quicker. Now, if you want to stay where you are and improve by maybe 5 to 10% per year, you don't need anybody like me. Just keep doing what you're doing. Got a happy life. It'll never be wonderful, it'll never be terrible, but you just kind of slide along. And the third thing is you've really got to develop better communication. You have to learn how to listen effectively. You have to learn things like the 5-step bridge. You have to listen for 3 needs. You really have to be able to communicate with people the way they want to be communicated with. 86% buy because they feel understood. 6% buy because they're made to understand. So those 3 things.
That's gold. Dr. Johnson, thank you so much for being on the podcast, taking the time, and for all the valuable information. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Justin.
Thanks.